Hello. Just a second. There we go. Hello, everybody. It is I, your most beloved Mayor and Margrave, Matilda Portier, or you can just call me Mettie, as most do. I just realized I should have. I tossed my phone behind me, all right, I won't need this anymore because I just finished putting out my Gone Live tweets and posts. But no, I need to pull up my stream on my phone because for some reason OBS's chat is being whack as fuck, so make sure that's set up. Okay, here we go. Alright, now why are you being fickle? Oh, that's why. Anyways, today we are working on the illustration that's going to be for my next song cover. It is... Ooh, what is it? Oh. It is from the same producer who did Sneer, which is what I believe to be my best... What I genuinely believe to be my best cover. I think that when it came down to Sneer, it was just one of the greatest. To the top right, I have just the credits for the original song. What is it? Yeah, I'll talk about it later. For some reason, it's not letting me pull it up. But it's done by the same producer who did Sneer. And if you haven't heard of Sneer, it's such a good song, and it complemented my vocal range in a way that was really, really fun, because it was just, I could be in my lower range, which the way I speak a lot more in my higher range. But when it comes down to it, genuinely, if I speak this slow, this is where I want to sing when I go down into my vocal range. But you can see that this is not an area that I live in much unless I'm doing voice acting, but this is in general the most comfortable place for my vocal cords to be. It's just that when I was younger, when I got vocal training when my voice was much higher, when I was a tween and teen, and, my vocal cords weren't that deep, so I naturally want to be up higher when speaking. If you've noticed with some streams, sometimes I make my voice a lot more like this, which is also very comfortable for me. It's honestly a bit more comfortable. I can go for longer speaking like this than I can talking like this. This does indeed. It's kind of by my falsetto. And for those who don't know, the falsetto is when you have vocal cords that are elongated, like you usually see in cis men, intersex women, or just sometimes even women that just have deeper vocal cords. It's something that once you reach a certain level of highness, you kind of flip into a falsetto. I forget what the actual science and why there is, but men are a lot more, they're when you get really high into your falsetto, that's usually when you hear people trying to sound girly. They have this kind of breathy thing. They kind of go up really high. So it's a more uncomfortable. So there's the falsetto, which is a way higher, up here. And then there's the head voice, which is right before that, which is what I usually speak in. And then below that, it can keep going lower and lower and lower. And so as you go lower, it's using more of your lower vocal cords. Anybody can train their vocal cords so that way there's a decent amount of length and comfortableness in using them. There's a lot of actually really cool tutorials on YouTube that can help with it, especially if you are working on voice acting or singing in general. But yeah, the producer, Gome Dawara. Their work, it usually sits in a more comfortable range, which is funny because if you listen to this song, it's very much higher up. But I covered 2 octaves, so while she sings an octave higher than what I sing during the song, it's still more comfortable for me. And that's something that the cover I'm released before this, このままいつまでも it was very, very uncomfortable for me to sing in. But that had it was much more in my head voice, a lot higher up than what I was used to. So, and that, like, it's funny, like, I sing a lot of Vocaloid covers, and it's something that I've noticed is I am a lot better at singing, especially V Flower and Miku and Teto sometimes. But as soon as when it comes down to like Komaida, I mean not Komaida, fucking random ass. Oh, it's because of Komeda. When I sing Kaito, it's so much harder. One of my favorite Vocaloid songs is the Phobos rendition of the Kaito rendition of Phobos, and it's really, really hard, but it's because it's in a higher range than what I personally sing. And I've noticed too, like, I love Tsudo, but Tsudo, when he does a lot of his own, covers of his Vocaloid songs, and he's in he's in such an awkward range for me. It takes a lot of mastery to get good at using higher ranges when you have the range I do. It's very interesting. So this one was really fun because I could get really low with it. And I like that. I definitely prefer that. So it's interesting. Rather than being better at singing, men's vocals, I'm better at just dropping women's down an octave. But I love the science and the layout of vocals. I think it's just a really cool thing to study. I've always loved music theory a lot. I used to do choral work, like choir and such. That was really, really fun. So I've learned a lot of techniques that I still use to this day. In fact, I actually have to jump up to the octave she sings because there's this like high up like and that's down octave, and so I had to think because I have to jump immediately to my falsetto. There's no like ease up. And so I was like, all right, what is the trick? What are the tricks again? And like, how do I make it sound more angelic? And luckily I had my reverb on and I have like a few different settings for it. And so I could just like go up and do a more, but I was like, at first I was using too much of my false palette, which kind of makes it, like it's a little too, it's not breathy, but it's a little too sharp at the same time. And the soft palette is like the top of your mouth going into the back. And if you like aim the airflow up towards it, it will actually make it vibrate more intensely. So if you're going for really like sharp, crisp ones, it's really nice to use. But I needed to instead go from, I needed to make it rounder because how you do that usually is you focus on the corners of your mouth to then shoot it up to your soft palate to get that. But that isn't what I wanted. I needed like a little bit softer. It's gonna sound funny as fuck because I don't have my reverb on. I'm not using good acoustics, and also I'm kind of half-assing it because I'm actually focused on drawing. But yeah, you can hear it firsthand when it comes out if you so wish. But it was fun. It was very fun singing the song because I got to have fun messing around with those higher vocals in the back. They're very quiet. It only happened a few times, and then there's kind of not really rapish, but it is kind of like there is a lot more monotonous, sort of repetitious pattern to some of the lines. Oh, it's so good. That's the thing is I love Komeda Waranai a lot. Their music is just really, really good. Ah, man. Some of the things too is I see a lot of people on my covers, especially in the past, I haven't been uploading that much recently, that were like, oh, you should sing this artist, oh, you should sing more of this. But sometimes I find it very, very difficult. Like, I do try every artist that they send me. It's just very, very difficult to aim down some of their vocals. Like, one of the artists I got recommended to sing was Ado. And Ado's music is incredible. She just recently did a song with Kikuo. But it's funny because it was just so incredibly difficult to sing. I mean, she has incredible singer's prowess, though, so I think there's definitely a skill leap there, but the range, the pitches, making it turn out good, it's very difficult. I like challenging myself, so always try things, and I'll come back to things too. But sometimes it's important to cut my losses where they are. I want my hair in this to be very kind of wet, like, you know, when you get out of like a body of water, whether that's a pool or a lake or a river, and your hair's kind of sticking. I want to have that sort of feeling to it. There's this monotony, there's this sadness to this song that I really like a lot. It's kind of it's evaluating what's around you and kind of questioning what's going on. So it's something that up here is one of the shots from the MV. And I sometimes notice I will do my own take on exact shots, but I've come to notice that I do prefer doing my own take on just the vibe a lot more. There's some songs where I'm like, oh, I want to use that pose. Like, for instance, Sneer is just pretty much a one-to-one. I had an image up like this, and I pretty much just drew it, but I pretty much recreated the exact pose and style and coloring choices. But when it comes down to this, I want it to be a lot more about the vibes. More than anything. Like, I'm definitely going to take much of this palette. I think especially it lends itself to my design, with both the main character in this music video and I myself being, you know, mostly in shades of white with this sort of glowy atmosphere to it. So I'm going to be focused on that. I have noticed sometimes I'll often go back and rewatch my VODs just to, you know, adjust things or to see if there's anything that can be clipped, of course. And talking about, you know, voices, I've noticed that when I get into like a flow state, I genuinely do sit much lower in my range. And it's funny because I've had people be like, oh my gosh, Mettie, your voice is so soothing. You could do radio. And I think it's really interesting because when I get really energized, I'm like really up here and I'm like, all right, time to ramble about lore. And then when I just, you know, actually just stop thinking that much and I'm just kind of rambling, I sit down here lower, which is not an intentional thing. It just kind of happens naturally. All right, I gotta drum my weird fucked up ears. I've been really sleepy today. I woke up pretty late, and then one of my Oshis was doing karaoke, so I was like, yeah, let's hop in, let's listen to them. And then I was playing some of the new Tomodachi Life and watching my various OCs. I have light eyelashes, but I kind of feel like making them darker. Anytime you see me with black eyelashes, just know that I canonically, Mettie must have been using mascara or something. Because I do have grayish, whitish eyelashes. I'll make the lips smaller. I do not have that big of a lip. It's been really fun though, playing Tomodachi Life too, because I pretty much added every OC I mostly have into it, and my stories take place across so many different eras and timelines, and like everything is interconnected, but it's still very, very different in each place. And like some of these are ancient ancestors of each other. But it's also something funny too, is like sometimes like people who ended up hurting other people are now all of a sudden just buddies. And it's kind of cool seeing them just hanging out in a utopia where the hell that they experienced, the fate that they were, you know, path that they were forced to walk is no longer something to worry about. It's making me want to work on some more character references. Like I was working on Rigel yesterday. But I never really got through with it. That wasn't really a reference. That was me just thinking about what the fuck does this guy look like? I definitely want to get back into doing some more game streams. There's so many games that I left ongoing, but I've been in a kind of... I wouldn't say creative, but I have so much of what dwells in my mind needs to be experienced through drawing. I don't know how to phrase this. I definitely want to play more Vintage Story and Pillars of Eternity and Tainted Grail. So many good games. That looks very hand. I kind of want to be lazy and just use the fill-in brush. But I could get a better, more interesting texture if I actually went in and made it look more webbed. Also, if you've noticed, I don't have what music is playing up right now, but it's actually an original song of mine that I never named. It was at certain points, Cafe Bonjour at my last art stream got DMCA'd, so it was like, alright, maybe I should stop using it so much. It'd be kind of fun though to play that game on stream, Nameless, the one thing you must recall. I played it originally back in 2021, and it's one of my all-time favorite OTOM games, but I don't actually remember much of it. Going in blind would be fun. I actually like OTOM games a lot. One of my favorite genres. But I haven't played really any that are with male protagonists. I mostly play ones that are like OTOM games, right? Not just visual novels, but like very much made for like shoujo fans and such. Gender's an interesting thing. In fact, it's something that I think is really funny because one of my childhood friends, she's trans, and growing up, like, her and my sister, like, this was before she came out, like, would play the same, like, phone OTOM games and dating apps. And I think it's really, I mean, like, dating scenario things, and I thought that was just really funny now in retrospect. Like, nobody was surprised when she came out, because she's just always been, you know, herself. And especially now, looking back, it's like, wow, there's even more than I really clocked. But I was never somebody who was up in other people's business. Kind of always just did my own thing, and people could tag along if they wanted, or buzz off, and I think I'm very much the same now. In a lot of ways. I became a lot more accommodating, but there is a part of me that always just kind of, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and, you know, whoever sticks around, sticks around. There's that one song, who is it by? Who's Coming With Me? I want to say it's not the Mountain Goats, I don't think. But I like that song a lot. Another song about Who's Coming With Me, Are You Going With Me by Pat Metheny. One of my all-time favorite musicians. That's something that, like, when I finally got into JoJo, I was, like, watching the anime and then also reading it at the same time, which is kind of a weird way to go about it, but the soundtrack is so good, and I like the voice acting, and, you know. So I went back and forth on it, but when I heard the Pat Metheny ending for part 3, I was like, oh my gosh, no shit! It made me so happy. It's amazing how much of my own musical tastes are represented in that show, whether it's stands named after things, or... I remember that was a big selling point for my friend. They were like, oh my gosh, Medi, they have craftwork related stand. I'm like, really? One of the first times I really fell in love with an animated music video was actually Kraftwerk's Autobahn. There's this one where there's this funky little alien with shades, and it's so trippy. I've always been fond of like very psychedelic type vibes. But as somebody who's like watched Adult Swim for eons and maybe or may have not used psychedelics on more than one occasion, it's a very, very comfortable thing for me. I kind of want to fix the hair. It should be a bit more messy. It's too, like, straight across. Like that. There we go. One of the original ways I started rendering hair was actually... Oop! I was inspired by the BL Tyrant Falls in Love. Very questionable in this day and age, but BL back then was not morally that great. But still one of my favorites just because nostalgia, and also I love it a lot. Koisuru Bokun? Koisuru Bokun. Yeah, that's the Japanese name. It's, God, I still love it a lot. But the way they drew hair, especially for, ooh, what's the scientist's name? The glasses. Oh, what is it? I'm so close. Ooh, it's almost there. I want to say Tatsumi. I don't think it's Tatsumi. So... no. But anyways, the way his hair is, there's some panels where it just falls so beautifully. So I actually was trying to learn from how they drew his hair. And so it began, you know, if you've noticed, like I'm very big on segmenting and sectioning hair like that. So that was originally where my inspiration was for drawing hair came from, was through Parent Falls in Love, which is one of the posters in my Go room. The hair I draw now is quite different, but made me think about how it all falls. There's quite a very rigid, angular style to the mangaka's artworks that I really like, though. It's so funny, all the different inspirations I have with my art and how, if I'm being honest, it doesn't really look like any of them. I remember when I was younger, there was so much advice with artists being like, oh, don't worry too much about style, right? It'll just come about naturally. And I was like, oh, really? And it did. Like, you can definitely see clear inspiration on some of the things that I draw, but mostly, I mean, I think I have a pretty distinct art style, but art style is just something that comes about naturally. I'm not somebody who really cares that much about it. It does make me happy though when people are like, oh my gosh, your art style. It's so cute, people on the tags on Tumblr being like, I want to eat it. The texture on this, when I would get sad, back in like 2023, I used to go to Twitter and just, not Twitter, also Twitter as well, Twitter and Tumblr, and just see all the different responses to the fan art I'd post. Nowadays, I don't really post much, though. I'm too busy working on VTubing and just living life, I suppose. It'd be fun, though, to get back more onto drawing more, posting it. makes people happy. And I feel like that's the best thing art can do, is make people feel things, right? Not just happiness, but also questioning. I mean, art in general is anything that really invokes an emotion. Needs to make the hair go out a bit more over here. I have this problem where I make their heads way too small. That's something too, is I'm not somebody that like does the rough the rough sketch of like, all right, this is the size, this is the shape. I do like mostly like I focus on jaw and then eye placement, like where the eye goes in right there. And that like helps me figure out everything else. And I used to do it where I would like sketch out the circle, line, jaw, like what most people often use, but I realized the more I did that, the less I actually made anything that looked good, and instead letting it come about naturally is much easier for me. So, you know, when I draw each line, it's like I'm tracing my fingers across each little ridge, each little strand, feeling the skin itself as I just gently think about how it falls, right? I think a lot about how something feels and smells and all these sorts of little details. Like my face right here, there's you know, skin is plush, but especially with my skin the way it is, it's kind of tighter than what you'd expect. It's not as movable. There's a clamminess, there's a coldness to it, but there's a level of firmness that is different from human skin. Kind of like when you touch frozen meat. It's not very, well, you can't press into it at all. But it's not too much to that extent. It's not like rock hard skin and flesh, but it is firm, it is uncomfortable. It's not really something that feels good. Kind of similar to an animal in rigor mortis to a certain extent. Not freezing, but if it was a bit colder. Like if anybody has a snake or an animal that eats like frozen mice and such, when you let it thaw for a bit, but it's still kind of firm, especially if it's a bit on the older side. That's the funny thing is, like I was saying, I was playing Tomodachi Life, and in that game, characters can like fall in love with each other, and it's funny seeing all the what characters do like each other, because it's kind of random in Tomodachi Life, and seeing what characters do, and, you know, I myself am in it, but in all honesty, I mean, it's not really possible for there to be a relationship. I mean, I'm undead. Not really something that others can touch without getting hurt. I kind of, especially because this song's a lot about day-to-day life and how things are that different. I think I want to have myself wearing a loose sort of t-shirt, like kind of like what you'd expect for like wearing around the house. Very casual. A little bit more modern than what I've worn in other situations. There we go. The jaw looks a little too intense, actually. It's a little too far out this way. All right, let's bring it in. I've decided against having the hair swoop in right there. Gonna readjust the sternocleidomastoid though. There's a few adjustments I need to do. Alright, so the head is turned a little bit. Let's bring it back. It should be kind of by the base of the jaw, where the jaw meets the ear. Bring it down. So here's like the edge of the neck. I kind of want to fix that jawline. Should be softer. Kind of eases down. Then we can also use the hair here to cover up a bit of it. In the shoujo manga, Gekon Shoujo no Zaki-kun, or Monthly Girls no Zaki-kun, it follows like a high school boy who writes shoujo manga, and he talks about like the real trick of drawing comics and being an artist is knowing how to hide shit you don't want to have to draw. And it's really funny because I used to take a lot of those tips to heart, but now I feel like I draw far more and then I just have to cover it up. So it's kind of like, instead of avoiding things, I end up just doing more work than I need to. But I'm really good at making extra work for myself. Oh, I'm sleepy. All right. I've been talking now for 30 minutes. I'm gonna take a drink. I only have water right now, but I might go on break-in. Oh, I just realized I wanted myself kind of be leaning back against the wall. But the way this body is set up doesn't... Okay. Just a second. I gotta change it. I forgot the purpose. Like, I've been drawing people on, like, the... So. Alright, if we need the body to be leaning back... Let's bring the collarbone up. And let's angle this shoulder. Let's round it. And then you can bring the shoulders forward potentially too. And then we can have, okay. There, now that's a little better. And so then the chest. I don't have pecs, but I'm just using it to remember. Figure out how to place this. I can get rid of a bit more of the shoulder gains. I think I will actually make myself smaller for this. Actually, let's rotate it a little bit more. Shoulders go out, then over. Also, I should have some hair that goes down with the... Because... Okay. New layer, and then... I'm going to do just some lines to show that the wall goes up and down here. You were just breathing, and you're like, oh man, I'm drowsy. Okay. Alright, what I might do... Alright, there's a few ways to... So, there's usually a bunch of images on the wall. And it's throughout the whole music video that you see some of them. Now, the question is do I place one here? Right? Like something like that? Or do I move myself over? And if I'm being honest, I kind of feel like keeping... Yeah. I think that that's good. I think that's it. Alright. We're starting with the inner line. I'm gonna have it be similar to what they have right there. Just gonna go in and make a more straighter line. More defined line. I feel like I've done a lot of pictures. Like paintings on the wall with some of the drawings I've done recently. I feel like I've been having a lot of ads today. Okay, we're gonna have to readjust this. It's a little too... Start. Like that. Scale rotate. Sure. I think something that could help too is, let's make the shoulder a little smaller. Still keeping the same sort of shirt design. Can erase that. It's still a little too shaped to my body, so I'm gonna make it a little looser. Adding little folds. Adding less definition on that collarbone. All about the little details. Okay. Now you can go back to the picture frame. I still gotta add a bit more, but for now. It's funny, one of the reasons I'm glad that my design is the way that it is I like usually my line art, like my sketch, before it gets colored, I like it more than when it does get colored because it can hide so many of the little details and effort that I put in. So I almost always am biased to my black and white art. And so my design honestly kind of reflects that. Allows a lot more of the details I'd like to shine through. I need to add like a more extra design to the very edge of it. I always get kind of lost. I've had to draw a lot of picture frames in my life, It's kind of like one of the main things I set up with assets. Even when I was just kind of starting out as Ghosttownmettie, I still was like, oh yeah, I'll do like chat boxes. I had like a, they're like, oh yeah, you should have like a whole little room, you know, type thing. And once again, like just so many picture frames. It's always been something that I've liked. But I still haven't gotten it down that well. That's kind of the fun thing about it, though, is like you can just kind of scribble a vague sort of thing, and it'll look okay. It'll look all right. Like it's nothing to call home about, but it's okay. It'll if it just you just need it to do its job, yeah. One of these days I'll figure out how to draw these things better, though. I promise. Whenever I go to secondhand stores, I like to look at the various frames they have. Frames are very expensive, so that's a good way to save money, is to look at secondhand places and see what they've got. I've met people who do like custom framing and such, and holy crap. You can make a lot of money doing that. I really want a custom frame for one of the paintings I have in my room is a Zdzislaw Beksiński print, who's my favorite artist. It's of the woman on the horse with like the blue baby. He doesn't title any of his paintings, they're just numbered. I forget what exact number it is. If you search up Zdzislaw Beksiński blue baby, you'll find it. And it's like on a horse. And I've always really wanted like a proper frame for it. Maybe one day. But that'll probably wait until I get my own place. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I definitely want a lot of Zdzislaw Beksiński art around. One of the pictures that I would love to have, paintings of his that I would love to have, is there's this one where it's kind of this old man with a cane with a black wolf kind of dog, where there's like some sort of foliage and arbor around, but there's also like a tower in the back, and I've always just been very, very in love with that. Greetings. Hello, welcome in, Debu but depressed. I hope you're doing well. We are just relaxing right now. I'm just working on some cover art doodles. But I hope you've been doing well. Hope that whatever time of day it is, it's been going well. I just realized I made this picture frame way darker. It's so funny, you could tell when I'm just like scribbling. It's usually my backgrounds end up darker than my actual. Alright. I mean, I can always go in, do the watercolor effect. Opacity a bit lower. It'll be better when I color it, hopefully. And I can do some tricks to make this picture frame not as heavy. But up here to the left is a screen cap from the original music video. Here is the references to the original music video, and then here's what I'm working on below. Alright, she has a picture of herself there. I think it's smiling? Slightly smiling. So what I can do... Now there's two options. I could do a version of myself smiling, or I can do me when I was alive. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm also drawing. Hell yeah. That's awesome. What you drawing? I always love hearing what people are working on. I think I'm gonna do... I might do past me, but I kind of want their head to be off the canvas. So let me draw Orti. It's cool art style. Thank you! I am always happy to hear compliments on my art style. I I like my art style a lot. It took me a while, but I'm kind of feeling a lot better about it. It's got a sketchiness to it, but some of my favorite artists is like Kentaro Miura and the horror mangaka. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Junji Ito. And not, it definitely doesn't look like their art style, but there's enough of it where you can tell that I am very much inspired by it. Drawing something spicy, lol? Hell yeah. I support you. As a streamer, I definitely do not draw spicy things while I stream, but it can be nice. It can be very nice when off stream to draw something a little spicy. My next webcomic I'm going to be doing will be not safe for work. It'll be a horror with some sexual elements to it, though I wouldn't say that that was a big draw factor, so I'm excited for when I start working on that next, but it can be nice. You should. I like horror styles, hell yeah. Currently, the comic I'm working on is not fully horror, it's more suspense, but it's got a different vibe. My current webcomic is The Witch of Mirrors, where it takes place in a place called the Abyssal World, and all of a sudden people start turning into mirrors, and it seems like a human has arrived, a human witch. And so it's like figuring out why is she turning people into mirrors, and like how do you get her to stop type thing. And so that's what I'm currently releasing. And then my horror series I'm going to do after that one is called Bottom Pot Harbor, where it takes place following a bunch of veterans who have been kind of just dumped from duty onto a remote island. And it takes place roughly in the 1960s, 1970s. And so they've all been like discharged for different misconduct and different things. And instead of, sending them back to their home country, they are instead kind of stranded with minimal support on this strange island. And so then it's like figuring out what's going on with that. So it's a very fun one. It's a lot more horror. It's a lot more scary and spooky, and I'm excited to get around to it. I'm drawing with the same sort of neckline for this. Maybe I'll change it a bit more. I kind of want their shoulder to be back a bit more. Like that. Maybe this arm out. I feel like I always draw Orti with the same clothes. I should draw like a cloak. Because Orti is from the 1100s. I think 1102 was when they were born. Was born. So let me go across like this. Also, let me know if the music is too loud or you need anything adjusted. I have pretty much just a looping track in the back, so hopefully it isn't too loud. Could drive some people insane, I bet. Yeah, I think I like having it be this sort of cloak. We need a clasp. I like piercing clasps. There's usually like a symbol, and then you usually like stick a spike through the fabric to like piece it together. Those were common in the medieval era. Go over. Nice. Orti's hair is a bit more spiky. Music is fine, don't worry. It's pretty chill. Hell yeah. I definitely like having my music, I've talked about this pretty much every stream, but I like having my music quiet enough where people can listen to their own music over it without any trouble. This is just an original track I made. So it's just very simple, just kind of cozy. I like having my art streams be mostly just focused on cozy vibes, just chilling out. People can just hang out, have people fall asleep watching them, just nice and chill and cozy. I'll have to define the class better. I might make it something more interesting. Everybody always wears like a kind of loose sort of tunic. I want there to be some design. Scene. Almost have an embroidered sort of section there. Then the clothing should overhang. Go across like this. And they definitely have a belt that goes through. And then it's definitely a loop-based belt, which was common back then. And so you go through and then a scoop and goes down like this. Wait. I'm like mentally going through like how to tie one of those belts. Oh, it's been a while. Okay, so it's a loop at the end of leather. And then you pull it through, it goes down like this. So you pull it through, and then you scoop up, and then you have it go over the loop, and then you go through it. There you go. Nice. Not completely. I mean, from a distance, it looks fine. I'll go in and I'll shade it and make the leather have a bit of a shine to it. Leather care is something that is very important, especially back in the past, because their shoes, their belts, most of their material is. Welcome in, Luktox VT. Ahoy! Welcome in. Ahoy. I hope you've been doing well. Currently just working on an illustration for my next music cover. I hope you've been doing well. I hope that the day has been treating you well, or the night, whatever time it is. Just chilling, hanging out. Feel free to talk about whatever. And let me know if the music is too loud. It's kind of funny having their head cut off. But I think that's good, because in this one you can see the expression from the original MV. But I kind of like, especially with who I was before I died, being you can't see the face, because there is kind of like a gap between identity in a way. That's fun. I'm alright, doing some writing today, trying to see if I can finish some mini milestones. Hell yeah! That's awesome. Good luck on your writing. I've been in a huge writing slump recently where like I'll open up like a writing software and I'm like, alright, I'm gonna work on it. And then I'll like finish a page and I'll be just staring at the next screen like, fuck, I can't do it. So good luck, I hope that's going well. Good luck on reaching those mini milestones. Writing is a lot of work. Thank you. It's really coming together and I'm so happy. Yes! That's what I want to hear. I'm so happy for you. It's exactly what I want to hear. It feels so good when you're like, oh my gosh, it's coming together. Holy crap. That is worth celebrating. I'm very, very happy for you, Luke. Also, let me know if there's anything specific you'd want to be called by. I know some people who like are like, can you call me by something else that is my username? Or can you call me this part of the username? So let me note that too. I try my best to be accommodating. I want the sleeve to be lower down. Like it's a very loose, kind of oversized garment. Kind of wanted to have a V down here. Yes, it's actually daunting me that I can put the intro out like within the next couple months. Hell yeah. Lucas fine. Nice. Man, getting the intro out in like the next upcoming months, that's awesome. I'm somebody where most of my projects are just in procrastination hell. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna release that, and then it's like, it'll be months, and I'm like, no, it'll be years. I'm like, I mean, I'm working on it, it's just slow. It's something that, like, my own webcomic I have out right now, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be able to do like a comic, like a chapter a month, and then I proceeded just to like put off the second chapter for eons. But it is how it is. It's nice when you see progress happen, but taking it easy is also good too. Yeah, I still have lots to do, mostly assets and coding, but assets and coding, ooh, it's a lot of work. But I'm happy you're seeing progress. Being able to get more work done and get any part of the project closer to completion always feels so good. That's something that I've been taking 2026 pretty easy. And I'm finally getting back into the swing of things. And I used to do like weekly cover songs, and that hasn't really happened in 2026, so I'm slowly getting back to it. I just got off call with a VA where we spent a fair amount of time just recording, lol. Hell yeah. Oh my gosh, recording sessions can take quite a long time too. That's awesome. I hope getting VAs are... I feel like for most people I've talked to who've done like production, it's usually really, really fun. I've done a little bit of voice acting myself and have been on calls, and oh my gosh, it can be a little insane though to be going over the same lines over and over again in different ways. But it's also very, very fun. Especially if it's like your own characters, then you hear brought to life. That must feel so good. At some point, I'd like to do like a animated intro lore video, I suppose. I'll have to look for my fellow voice actors, but yeah, it's still not perfect taste, but we're both beginners. Me in direction and him in acting, but first step. Yeah! I mean, that's the thing is, everything starts from somewhere. It is very fun. Just take those first steps, and I mean, once you start doing it, I mean, the amount of knowledge and understanding you get, it's priceless, really. But that makes me really happy. I miss voice acting. That's another thing I gotta get back into later this year. I want something to be hanging off. I wonder if they'd have a sword. I don't think Orty would, but maybe Orty would. Swords were not necessarily commonplace, but Orty was a merchant son. So the idea of him being completely without one seems wrong entirely. Okay. 1100. I could do a simple sword. Nothing too flashy, just very simple. A wrapped hilt. Yeah, it should be curving out a little bit like this. Adding a little bit of depth. And then probably just maybe just a plain circular one. Probably what would be called now a bastard sword. Why is there like a little pink dot right there? Where did that come from? Huh. I don't even remember my brush being pink. Alright. Okay, let's add in circle here. We'll add in some definition to the edge, that way you can tell. Bring it in there. I think I might want it to be a bit more angular. I don't know if I like it that way. So far, I like it. I definitely want to darken some of the edges. Probably the outline of me. Like a sopping wet rat. I kind of like that the painting's looking at her. I'm very excited to put this cover out. It's kind of fun though. I feel like I'm usually a lot more relaxed when I release cover songs that are a bit more obscure. Like, Kometa Waranai has like a few songs that were a lot more successful, but the one that this is a cover of that I'm releasing that I'm doing the art for is like it only has like 15,000 views, and when it comes down to like Vocaloid songs, that isn't much. And I kind of like that. The pressure's off. And it's just kind of doing an ode to like a song that I really like. When I first started doing covers, I mostly did like Kikuo songs. One of my favorite producers. And I would like to actually go back to a few of them and redo them. Back then I had a Lewitt 102 microphone. That wasn't necessarily the greatest. And then now I have a Newman, so... The quality that I can produce now is much, much better. I'm still figuring things out though with recording. It's funny, even when I take breaks, I spend a lot of time recording. I like how the hand's not at all really on the hilt. The track I have going right now kind of feels like music to get hypnotized to. I was worried it was going to drive me crazy as time went on, but actually I'm just kind of vibing with it. Might change it later on. Only an hour in. Alright. A little bit of detail right there. Adding a bit more detail to the fabric and how it folds right there. And I want to add a seam line right here. My jaw looks so sharp. I'm gonna actually fix it. I keep going in and adjusting it, but that's fine. If that's almost always the case, so. Right. I don't want it to be too pointy. Like this. But I wanted actually to go up the lower part, the left part of the jaw. Like that. Okay, that's good. I think that's a bit more accurate. Last cover illustration I did, I looked so Ikemen in it. But no. It's gonna be false advertising. I definitely got a lot more of a Bishonen vibe. Alright, working on the hilt. I mean the scabbard. I'm missing playing a lot more classic JRPGs. I never finished playing the second Ys game. And there's so many Ys games I want to play through. Does it make me want to do a model that's very, like, Ys and Zanata Next inspired? I was kind of losing it on Blue Sky the other day when they were having a sale on Zanata Next, where it was only like $3. I'm like, play it, please! I bought it for friends before, but I don't have many that are really into JRPGs. I would like to get back to it, though. It's been, I think, a year now since I last played Zanata Next. I mean, not Zanata Next, Ys 2. And I don't know if I could replay Ys. I mean, I love Ys, the first Ys, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I could handle fighting Dark Fact again. It was like the final boss. The final boss of the first Ys is called Dark Fact, and when I fought him, it took me 3 hours, I think, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and it's like it would be like, it's like a 15-second fight to the end. So it was like every 3 seconds I would just straight up die. It's considered one of the most brutal boss fights in history, but that's like classic JRPGs where they're just kind of broken with the balancing. I would love to go back to playing the Ys games. That's something too, is I want to upload a new sort of introductory video where I update some of the information I had, because the one on YouTube I have on like the main page is a bit outdated and I don't even use that exact model anymore, so it'd be kind of nice to properly show off this model and my 1500s actually. I don't have an 1100s one yet. That would be nice. I have some assets I made for it. I've just been putting it off. I think I'm waiting for something. Oh, what if I need more information? Or thinking about how to introduce yourself is always kind of interesting. I have like favorite media, like assorted groups that I have set up and everything. Ooh, I just realized I should have made it. Orti means nettle in French, so making the class be reminiscent of nettle would be nice, or at least of some sort of plant. Alright, hug that down. Going and erasing that. Oh, nice. Bring that down, bring that up, bring that down and over. Then I want to go in and add little defining lines just to show which way the sleeve fabric is curving. Bring the arm up a bit, but I might just use the erase line and do it like this. There we go. Should be better. Then we can use lines to go up, go down, go over. We can make this crease line go all the way across. I'm wanting to make some more assets for this channel. Like, I would like to have one for lurking, where my little fan mascot can go to sleep. Since it's a bat, it'd be fun to make it just kind of like go hang upside down and close its eyes, and it can be like a custom message of, oh, blink blink, went to sleep. It'd be funny if it's like in the rafters. I don't know if I like this crease going all the way across the way it is. I think maybe if it followed, maybe not all the way across, maybe. Maybe something like this. We gotta add extra shading down here. There we go. Okay. So that's done. Probably should clean up a little bit of this frame. Add some definition lines below it. This is a good way just for me to know which way it's casting a shadow, alongside indicating which direction the wall is. Especially if it's a perspective shot, it kind of helps put it into perspective a bit better. And I want to actually erase some of these lines right here. There we go. Then I'm going to go across. Because you can see right there is most likely wainscoting. And even in my own background right now, there is wainscoting behind me, which is the paneling, usually often made of wood, but not limited to, that goes sometimes about halfway up the wall, sometimes about a third up the wall. Sometimes 2/5 up the wall. Matters what height the ceilings are. Matters what style. It's usually found in older homes, but not limited to. There's all sorts of paneling that comes with it. Most common are just straight boards that go across. That's usually the one I go with, just because I can be a bit lazy. And drawing vertical lines, well, that's easy. There we go. Alright, I need to add more. I want to go over some of this to make it a bit more defined. So first, the neckline of this t-shirt. It'd be kind of nice to have a casual wear outfit. Right now the one I currently have is the outfit that I wear when I'm sword fighting, practicing my epee. But it'd be nice to have one where it's just a bit more modern casual. You could have casual in several different contexts though. I've been around for a long, long time. 600 years as a nightmare demon. It's kind of a long time. It doesn't even include... Well, technically, that should be in the 900s. Because I formed in a smaller scale not too long after I died as a human, which was in the early 1100s. It's fun just outlining here. Especially when coloring, oftentimes I'll do really light sketches, especially for my characters, but it is very, very important. It makes things a lot easier going in and outlining the edges and ends of things. Usually not going into the actual hair, if you notice I'm just doing the outside of it. So like a way to separate the hair from the face, from the wall. Going in and adding those specific outlines really helps with the coloring process, but also just in general to make a cleaner image. Something I usually have to do when I'm working on my webcomic as well, even though it's not colored. Especially when I use grayscale shading, it's also important to do it too. See, that is a lot more clean, it's a lot more crisp. I want to add more lines down here. Should be a top segment. And I'll add some extra lines on either side of where these kind of panels are. I'll go through with a diagonal scribble, just add some more emphasis. I think I'll go in with a bolder line to define the edge. Then I can add little defining lines going up. I'm gonna add some more later on. It also matters too if I decide to change the texturing of the wall. I'll probably keep it just flat, but sometimes I like to add like a little squiggles and dots if it seems like it's a wall that has more texture to it. Based on what time period building is, rarely do you have the very smooth plastering that you see, especially in modern homes. So it's something always to consider. All right, let's try doing some rough coloring. I definitely want to take this really pretty seam foam color that's in the back of the original music video. I can hear crows outside. Oh. Morning really has come. All right, let's put this down. Then I'm going to use just plain white to color myself, and then I'll go in and shade it. I don't know if I want my shirt to be white, but... Ooh, there's kind of an echo to the crows outside. And I'm like, oh, damn, actually, that would make I would mix that into this song. A very faint, echoing crow's call. Oh, that would be so good. Well, I might. Back in 2021, I spent a lot of time messing around making songs. Not that I ever recommend checking out where I have them all archived, but it is something that I did spend a lot of time doing, and I would like to get back to it. Spend a lot more time working on it. Especially working on cover songs, it's made me kind of understand my own vocal range a lot more. And I definitely prefer doing background music, but I think it would be a fun challenge to do more music that does have vocals, but I don't know. I mean, lore, I have that little lore song I have out that just has my acoustic guitar, but no, kind of made it on a whim. Okay. Having to color Orti. Orty usually wears a blue, that's not blue, that's purplish, a blue tunic with gold hems. Which I think is kind of funny because Orty's whole thing, which is who I was as a human, was they were afraid of the sea. So, you know, wearing blue as their main color is kind of interesting. I think there's definitely a sort of draw to what you're afraid of to a certain extent. There's always an innate feeling of knowing you have to face your fears at some point or another. And I suppose for Orty, despite his fear of the sea, it's something that, you know, became a huge part of his identity. One of my housemates has, what's it called? When you're afraid of the outside and strangers outside, or like you refuse to go out really at all. It was years before they actually went out, and I'm around a lot of people where seeing their own relationship with fear and helped me really come to terms with my own and figuring out, like, it's amazing how much your fears actually can form you and shape you. That's one of the reasons I think I love horror so much. A lot of people, you know, will be like, oh, that game wasn't scary, oh, that thing wasn't really that scary, but a lot of that can come from a sense of not being able to internalize what's happening. Not being able to feel afraid, to know that feeling, to worry about that feeling. That can be both a blessing and a curse. I'm somebody who cries a lot while reading. I read web novels a lot. I read novels a lot. I read anything I can really get my hands on a lot, and the amount that I've just bawled my eyes out. But it makes it worth something, you know, when you're able to really, really cry, to really, really feel pain on behalf of another. It's something that it's very built into me to care about others. I'm not necessarily the greatest at it, but I do my best. I think I'm probably the best at caring when I'm just dealing with strangers or passerbys, I think. I'm that of a person, you know, I'll go to stores and people working there will know me very well and be excited to see me, and I'll listen to their problems, but also to just strangers when I'm out and about doing errands. I loved especially when I lived kind of out in the middle of nowhere, talking with old timers and hearing all their stories. But I also made sure to learn from their stories as well. They'd tell me about their mistakes and letting it internalize for me. Not just letting it be some story I'm being told, but letting it be add on to my own life and my own years in a sense. There's a lot of power to be found in being able to internalize what other people say to you. Being able to care. Kind of like making it a darker, more rich, kind of a midnight blue almost. I remember when I was younger, I used to love messing around with different coloring, and I remember options, and I remember finding out about midnight blue, and I'm like, what? This is almost black. And they're like, yeah, that's kind of the point. I'm like, wow. Owen Wilson, wow. That was so cool. It's my favorite color for a long time. And it's still something that I hold very, very dear to my heart. Kind of want that cake to be a very rich blue. My own father struggles to see blue, but it's his favorite color. Makes me wonder what his world looks like. talked about it before, but blue is one of the last colors that was ever given name in a ton of different languages because it was such a given in this world. The blue skies and the sea and ocean blue. It's really cool. Red is always one of the first ones given name. What's your favorite horse breed? Good question. Let me pull it up. Hi, Spritey. Welcome in. Sorry I missed your stream earlier. I think I was asleep during it. I think that was like, yeah. But hopefully next time I can catch it. Horse, I'm trying to find what horse breed I like a lot. I do remember it was a French horse breed. Oh, I'm gonna butcher it, Auxois. Yours is the Belgian draft? Hell yeah. But mine is the Auxois. They look really funny. Auxois. The Auxois. Yeah. It looks so funny. It looks so... It literally... it's so cute. It's so stumpy. Yeah, the Auxois. Belgian draft is a good choice, though. I think fate chose me to watch this. I woke up randomly with my stomach hurting and bam, you're live. Hell yeah. It's amazing how many times I've woken up to that. By the way, sorry for the weird question, but researching for my fantasy novel, hell yeah. I think that, honestly, that's a great question to ask. So welcome in, Alucard de Morn. I support that entirely. One of the reasons I actually know about the Auxois was when I was looking for when I was designing my own horse. It isn't entirely off of an Auxois, but I've been thinking about it. It's 6:36 a.m. I started streaming at a little before, like 4:59. We're in the same time zone, so like, I know you have like school and work and life, so. At the very least, that's not the worst time. I mean, like, it's early in the morning. I'm a very much a nocturnal person. I stream very usually at nights for most people in my time zone. But I hope your tummy's feeling better. Make sure to take some Tums. Make sure to take whatever you need to make yourself be feeling better. And hopefully you're able to take it easy today. I went to bed at 12 a.m. 6 hours of sleep could be better. Hopefully you're able to get a nap in if you need it. At the very least, it could be worse. But I'm happy to have you hanging out. Currently just working on art for my next cover song. Imagine it being early, my day is about to end. Welcome in, hey man! I hope that your day that's about to end has been going well. That's a fun thing about streaming, is seeing all the different people in different time zones. It's fun. I stream at ungodly hours for this time. I hope for most people it's like decent for them. I woke up at 5 a.m. yesterday. I had 3 hours of stream. Oh god. That's not good. That's not good, Spritey. You gotta get more sleep. You gotta get more sleep. Sleep is so incredibly important. That's how your body keeps functioning. That's how it repairs its processes. Funny thing, I'm not in a different time zone. Oh, you do night shift? All right, that should be the correct. Oh, I kind of want to make the shirt a bit richer. Seeing how vibrant that is. At 6 a.m.? Hell yeah. I don't know if it's TMI, but I won't share why I woke up. Okay, it's up to you. Less sleep, that's some soy meal shit. No, imagine sleeping. No, it's important. It's so important. 12-hour night shift. Woo! If I was a working person, I'd have to do a night shift. I'm always awake during the night. I woke up at 8 p.m. and then I proceeded to start drawing at 4:59. I have no idea when I'm going to bed. I'm not sleepy though. But I do have to prioritize sleeping a lot though. But I got the type of body where if I don't sleep, I'll literally just pass out. But that's what being sickly is like. I don't sleep, I just close my eye for 8 hours. Hey, better than nothing. Sometimes proper sleep just doesn't come health routine. I had a lot of nights where I would just meditate without sleep. Whenever I would go over to a friend's house, I wouldn't be able to sleep properly, so I just meditate with my eyes closed. And that's, I mean, it's better to rest that way than not at all. But sleep is very important. It's amazing how much the body will shut down based on lack of sleep and nutrients and everything. When you're younger, it doesn't affect you that much, but 30s it really starts to bother you, and then 40s sucks if you aren't. 50s are really suck, and then 60s are unbearable. Yesterday was the first time I slept in 36 hours. Jesus Christ, Taman. I passed out hardcore. I believe it. Damn. Sorry you weren't able to sleep for such a long time. That must have been brutal. Hopefully it wasn't too bad on you, though. I got up like an hour ago and went back to sleep, but I guess I can't sleep anymore. Well, hey, you can hang out here and take it easy, and hopefully you're able to fall back again asleep. Even if sleep eludes you now, hopefully it can come back to you soon. I often struggle to go to sleep at a time, like get myself to fall asleep, but I found out that taking valerian tincture helped, which is actually a medieval remedy. One of the few ones that isn't super fucked up. Only got 6 hours of sleep and then back to work. Ooh. 6 hours of sleep is better than none, but oof. It's rough. It's like a white frame, but since Orty is so colorful, I'll probably make it a bit more colorful. I don't kind of want to make it a silver frame, but considering that they wear so much clasps and like their hemming and they have a lot more of like a bronze, copper, goldish sort of tertiary color to their design, I'll probably choose that. This sucks because during the week I get like 3 to 5 hours a night, but on the weekend I usually sleep 12 to 14 hours. Not this weekend. Oh. Usually the weekend you make up for your lack of sleep. Ooh, that's rough. Hopefully you're able to get some better sleep in soon. Hopefully you're able to take a nap. You deserve to take your weekends easy. Oh wait, wrong. I shade hair with purple and then I go in and I go shade with red. But hey, 1 hour and 30 minutes and I'm going out. Yeah. It's always a nice feeling when you're like, oh my god, so soon. So soon I'm gonna be free. Just a little bit longer. I hope that this shift hasn't been too bad for you. Sometimes it feels like a shift can go on forever, especially if it's really, really long. I feel like, especially in those last 30 minutes, you're like, can I just grab my stuff and go out the door? Please, please, please. Can I just clock out already? So in a way, it's kind of unbearable, but it is also kind of nice. school sucks. I have a concert to prepare for. I have a play to prepare for. I have a job. I stream and I try to support my streamer friends. Oh, that's so much. Try and take it easy when you can, Spritey. Turning down options and like events and such, probably a good move, especially if you find yourself being overworked and, you know, especially lacking sleep, like be sure to make some time for yourself. I've been listening to live streams for 12 hours. Hell yeah. When I used to work as a live-in caretaker, I would always be listening to streams while cleaning. I would have my Bluetooth headphones on, and I'd be just listening while I was cleaning and dealing with all sorts of things. It feels like it's one of the best ways to kind of just go throughout your day. Kind of makes you forget what you're doing, especially if you're doing a job that has like some sort of repetitiveness to it, or like a systematicness to it. It's kind of fun just to have like a distraction to a certain extent and be able to turn your brain off and just let it happen in loops. Especially this hair is supposed to be looking a little damp / wet. Going in with a darker purple will make it seem a bit more wet. I forgot I have commission examples to make. Oh my gosh. Spritey, you gotta take it easy. Somewhat, though. I know you got commission examples to do, but if you got that much going on, take it easy. Take a nap. It's okay. It can wait. Please take care of yourself. It's so important. No, you gotta. There's that one account, like gimmick account, that had been going on for a long time on both like Twitter and Facebook. That was like especially popular in the 2010s, called Baby Names, and it was just the weirdest shit. It was never like proper baby names, and there was one where it was capitalized you and then capitalized gotta, and I used to send it to people being like, you gotta. I just think it's a really weird name, and I still think about it to this day. I need money for a gift for my friends. Oh, good luck. I believe in you. I mean, if your friend's somebody who has like art or like characters, you could always just do art for them. Maybe you just write them a really nice poem. It doesn't have to be something monetary, too. Like if you're somebody who can sew, maybe try embroidering them something. Her birthday is next weekend. Oh, good luck. If it's somebody you can't ship something to personally, that can make it a bit more difficult, though. I see her almost every day. You should see if you can do something for her that isn't like based on monetary. Because it can be nice to get your friend, like, if they really want the specific thing, you know, saving up for it. Like, one of my good friends, for their last birthday, I got them, like, a tattoo gun that they've been wanting. I was talking with their wife and being like, hey, what do you think they would like? And so I got them a tattoo gun. But, like, if you can probably find something that they'd like where you don't have to spend money. Something that it can be a really good habit to get into. Because, wow, no matter where you are in the world, making money right now is difficult. Being able to afford things is very difficult. So, hopefully you can find something. If you're really set on something specific though for her, I really, really hope you can find a commission time. But don't forget to take it easy. I don't know if I like how this nose looks. Especially now that I'm shading it, I'm like, Actually, wait, it's kind of... okay. If my face is looking up, that means that there's probably a light going down like these. She wants fish slippers? I'm not kidding. That's awesome. I support that. I say as if I'm not literally an evil fish. Me, like, totally not biased, being like a deep sea entity. I support that. I feel like people who like fish are some of the easiest people to shop for, though. Fish slippers are cute. My sister really, really loves fish, but specifically carp. And I got her a bath mat, that's a really, really cute fish. And I've gotten her, like, cute goldfish earrings and such. I forgot to put my glasses on, but now I don't want to get up to grab them. I understand. Sometimes, though, I feel like, though I've been wearing glasses for so long, I feel like I'm bald without them. I don't know how else to describe it, but I feel bald without my glasses. Like, not blind, but bald. I feel like something's wrong. It even got to the point where, like, I wear a face mask while I sleep, because I need something filling that spot. I love wearing glasses, though. I feel like I sound like somebody who has glasses. Something is, I've drawn a lot of VTuber designs, and I thought for a long time about my VTuber design, and I've gone through variations. But it is funny, like, whenever I was, like, thinking about it, I'm like, I need something like glasses. I sound like I have glasses. I'm gonna work on my examples. I will still be there, though. Alright, good luck, good luck. Drawing commissions examples. Ooh. I don't think I've ever really done that. I used to have a commissions chart, but it was mostly just art I had already done. I was like, alright, what do I got? But I've always been kind of half-assed about commissions. Maybe one day I'll lock in and actually put in some proper work. I should zoom in. I've just been staying zoomed out while shading this, but whatever. Something that I always kind of realize after the fact is I'll start, like, once I upload it. So when I make my cover songs, I draw the illustrations, but as you can see, I'm very zoomed out from it. And then when I often do, like, the lyrics and then, like, maybe a minor effect over it. And so when I'm in the video editor and setting everything up, I'm also very zoomed out because I'm mostly dealing with the timeline. And so then I'll finally post it. I'm like, fuck, this looks worse than I thought. But I'm very casual about my cover songs. I'm slowly getting more detailed on it, but I used to have a lot more of like, oh, I'm gonna put more effort into it when I first started off with covers, but then I was doing them weekly. That's a lot of work. I look so sad. God, I hate my voice so much. It's very rare to like your own voice. I got used to listening to my voice though, because I have it set up so I do voice acting, I do vocal covers, I have to hear my voice, and so I listen to my voice for hours and hours and hours as I record. And then even while I'm streaming too, like right now I hear my voice, but I have it go through an audio interface where I have all of my audio going through, so then I can adjust audio levels. So like I don't need to go to any program, I can just move a dial down to like make the background music louder or my voice louder. So I hear myself 24/7, and so I can adjust things. And so once you get used to hearing yourself, it's not as bad, but there are some times where I start going crazy. Especially when I have to go through and send files and because when I do voice acting, I'll often do one takes, right? Where I'll just start recording my voice and then I'll be on call and it won't record what the producer and the directors are saying. But it'll just be all mine going, and then I will have to go through and cut it, and I will have to be like, all right, what's that? And I'll listen over and over and over again. So that will drive me crazy. And then when I work on cover songs, oh my god, because I have to put in the lyrics, so I'll have to stop, write in the lyric, go, and I'll have to go back and check the timing again. So it's a lot. And then of course audio mixing. It's oh god. I've had a lot of exposure to my own voice, which has made me like it a lot more. The thing too is there's things especially based on who you are, there's a lot of reasons why you could dislike your voice, right? There could be people who have made negative comments on it. There's also a lot of dysphoria. Whether you are somebody who is trans or cis, if you feel like your voice does not match what you want to be seen as, that sucks. There's a ton of people I know with kind of higher pitched voices that are men that are like, oh god, or women who have deeper, more masculine voices who dislike it, regardless of, all sorts of things. And so it's very difficult. Even for me, I have a dream version of myself in my head that I'm like, I want to be that. I'm a woman, but my voice is deep and naturally raspy. Hell yeah, and that's every reason to be proud of it. I think something too is a lot of people who dislike their voice often are only used to hearing it out of not the greatest microphones. When one of my favorite streamers, I love his voice, but whenever you can hear it through a cheaper mic, he has a really cute lisp to it, and he sounds way dorkier than usual. And I think it's endearing, but it is drastically different from how he sounds. And he sounds, the quality, and he does sound quite a bit nicer when it is just a nicer microphone. But it is rare to find somebody who likes their voice right off the bat. But I'm sure, Spritey, if you... deep and naturally raspy, that's awesome qualities to have. I want to do song covers, but I just hate my voice so much. I think it's important to aim not for liking your voice, but neutrality. You say that you have a deep and naturally raspy voice. That's a beautiful thing. That is something that a lot of people really like. It's something that, one, getting a nicer mic can help. Of course, that is finances. Getting one secondhand is always helpful. But finding ways to also like your voice. Sometimes talking with instructors or different things and aiming for just neutrality. It can be difficult to like your voice, but aiming for neutrality, right? This is a tool. Your voice is a tool to make things happen. So especially if you're working on song covers, think about just trying to hit the notes, sustaining. Just think about the pure logistics of it instead of personal opinion. That helps a lot. Instead of focusing on, the specifics of how your voice sounds, the things you dislike about it, just focus on the pitch, the sound, how you are manipulating that, air through your voice. For instance, just focus on, all right, I need to focus on directing air towards my soft palate. I need to focus on aiming this note, so let's elongate my vocal cords. Let's use a lot more of an O shape for this. Let's focus on this area of the mouth. And so once you focus specifically on making your voice create the effect you want rather than your voice itself, it's good. Because if you follow what is supposed to happen without worrying about your voice specifically, it helps. Because then it isn't necessarily judging you, it's just, I'm looking for this specific thing. And if you struggle with pitch control or all these sorts of things, then you just, you know, practice and practice and practice. Even though I hate my own voice, I could never imagine myself with a different one no matter what. Hell yeah. I get a lot of compliments on my voice, which I don't personally get. I don't know, my voice is my voice. It's very me. Now, the ideal version of me I have in my head that I like, if I could be anybody in the world, I'd want to be like this. Very, very different from what I sound and what I actually am, but with who I am, I mean, it suits me. It's a little nerdy, it's a little dorky. It's got a bit of rasp to it. Gets higher when it's energized. And I have longer vocal cords, so I can do easier voice acting because I can go lower, I can go higher. It's fun. So I used it to help me find a neutral area with my voice because I see it as a fingerprint. Yeah! That's the thing is neutrality on your voice is really, really nice. I feel like that's something that a lot of people are like, oh no, you should love yourself, but that's really hard, especially when you have that as the goalpost. It feels unachievable and sometimes is. I feel like that as well, body positivity, like body neutrality and voice neutrality, like just viewing yourself as, oh, this is just me, this is just a thing, rather than being fixated on achieving it, is really helpful. It's too easy to get caught up in, God, I hate this, but being like, you know what, this is just a part of me, whatever. That's always really positive. I'm happy, Heyman, that you have been able to come to peace with it. And if you ever dislike your voice enough and you want like a specific thing, you can always do, there's voice acting lessons. Like I have friends who always speak, but they always adjust how they speak. Like, for those who want to be a bit more feminine, they make their voice naturally a bit smaller and a bit more feminine, and they use vocal lessons to get themselves to be that way. And I mean, in general, it can be helpful to learn. I'm not the greatest at voice feminization, but I really had to learn a lot more. So, because when I was playing Pillars of Eternity, I would try and recreate the voices, and I got pretty good at especially the male ones, but then with the female, I'm like, how do I do this? And some people mistake my voice for being a woman's when they first hear it, which I think is funny. But then some people are like, what? How could you think that it was feminine? That just sounds like a dude. I think that's really funny. I'm just peak androgyny, I suppose. But with feminizing my voice, it took a lot of lessons to figure out how to do it. So if you really dislike it, you can always mess around with it and make it different. I mean, voices are made to be manipulated. You can change how it sounds all sorts of ways. It's fun. Learn how to mess around with it. Be goofy with it. That's one of the reasons I love voice acting is I can be anybody if I want. It'll take time, it'll take effort to get used to it. I'd like to do more feminization voice acting though, because it's difficult. One of my first voice acting roles I got, unfortunately, the project never did see completion, but it was one of the first times I got to actually have voice direction, work on a project. I was actually hired to do a woman who was kind of a strict and abusive mother. And it was fun because she was very much a, what is it called? I always blank on this. She kind of had that classic Edwardian fashion to her. Think I'm gonna try to sleep? Alright. Good luck, Spritey. I hope you're able to go to sleep. But it was fun doing her voice. And that was fun. I love voice acting. I don't know if I want that shirt to be like that. I kind of don't like how I shaded that at all. I think what I'm going to do, actually... Well, for one, I just realized I didn't shade the hair right there. me go in. There we go. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lasso tool. The big issue is when it comes to things I know I can change it, and then I never feel confident in it and I end up hating it, like hair or anything else. Yeah. It can be difficult. It's usually good just to like get into not giving a hell sort of mindset. That's something that for me, I've tried a lot of different hairstyles and I'm still not really set on anything. Most of the time I just go with like a short, easy to maintain one like what I have right now. And like, do I think I look good with this hair? I don't know. I'm always, even drawing models for myself because I don't know. Especially, it's hard to have confidence in something that can just be changed. And then it's easy then to gain dislike because it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, it could be something else. Should I change it to something else? There's just a lot of uncertainty that naturally comes with it. Choosing how to design yourself in a way, whether that's real life or all sorts of things. It's kind of difficult. Because there's kind of infinite possibilities. So how are you supposed to choose? How are you supposed to know? That's stressful. My biggest issue, oh wait, I read that. I don't know why I thought that a new message came in. Oh, probably because the ad popped up. I'm starting to get sleepier, but I must keep going. I need to get this done. That was not what I wanted. Alright, maybe not. I think I'll go purple. Purple kind of is the Mettie go-to color. I kind of like it lighter though. I think white is good. Maybe if we change lessen the shading on it, I think that'd be good. And I'll do some like more bold shading that covers a bit more, but alright, I want to do this back wall. So we have this nice sort of seafoam color. Okay, so they use like blue for it. I'm not going completely one-to-one with the shading style, but I do like the seafoam. I might make it a bit more darker. It's funny because it's such like a light pastel sort of illustration. But this is, well, as soon as I chose to draw Orti, me when I was alive as a human, it immediately was like, all right, you are not going to be able to recreate this exactly. I never know how to really do cover illustrations for these things. It can be easy if it's like one-to-one, but I really want to challenge myself more with not making it completely exact. Like using this watercolor brush. I feel like watercolor is one of the main things I like to use. There's so many, these are all pretty, most of these are just default Clip Studio Paint brushes, which is the software I use. Yeah. And I usually just like their default watercolor brushes for adding emphasis. All right, so in this, it's kind of casting a shadow that way. But based on how the shadow is here, it should actually be casting a shadow this way. So if light is coming from like the upright, then okay. Like this. Then I'll go over. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the darkest spot for this should actually be towards the front. I'm gonna switch over, I think, to like probably soft bleed. I like the soft bleed brush. Go in and darken closest by the head. And so when light hits anything, it usually bounces off and causes a certain level. Oh, what the fuck? Some ruler just randomly spawned. What just happened? Huh. So I'll have to go in after the fact. I'm just focusing on just adding some level of shadow. So like, for instance, this frame right here will cause like a gold refractory light that'll go off. So where I'm not liking how I'm doing these shadows, but it's fine. My weakest part in illustrating anything is always the coloring. Sometimes I do incredible work, and yes, I do have an understanding of light and color theory, but it will not save me. I'm gonna go in and go into the textured blender and just kind of soften a little bit of this. Then I want to add, since it's seafoam, I think I'm gonna go a bit more green. Since the shadows are like very blue, let's go in with a bit more green for the seafoam. And I just want to add a bit more texture and highlights to the wall. And I could always create a bit more of a pastel effect by using a layer over this to like do an overlay. So we have like this kind of minty, this foamy effect, and kind of want to have it a bit harsher right here. And technically it should be a bit more rough since it should be following the face. Okay, so it should be extended down. And I think a little bit of light would creep through right there. Okay. So far, so good. Okay, and I'm going to go in and add more details. I'm not all set with this, but I just want the vague idea of what's going on. I'm going to go in and... Where's the wainscoting? There it is. I'm going to go in and shade the wainscoting. Multiply. Just make it a little bit darker. And then I can go on and then color or T. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through the materials catalog in Clip Studio Paint. One of the reasons I got it in the first place. And I'm going to go down to texture. Then I'm going to add a cloth-based one. Rotate the angle. Actually, I kind of want to do... I'm going to do a border effect. Oop, not that. Watercolor. Range, lower. And then I'm going to go up. Clipped layer, multiply. I'm going to go in with a darker blue. And because this is a painting, honestly, it'd be kind of nice to do a more painting style to it. So I'm going to go over to some of my downloaded brushes that I have not experimented with enough and just kind of go with something that's rougher. Usually what makes paintings, like especially physical paintings, very attractive is they don't actually fill in every single little detail. It's kind of like vague messiness that makes your mind fill it in for you. So I don't want to completely recreate that, but I do want to use a textured brush, like a heavily textured brush, to create a similar effect to what you see on paintings. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this exact one, but I do kind of like it. Another way to get that effect too, potentially, is... Actually, let me unclip this. Another way to get this sort of effect too is sometimes you can just like use like a canvas layer on top of everything and then make it seem like it was painted on, and then there's all sorts of tips and tricks. That's something that I never really ventured into is art tutorials that go into how to create like a painting or a digital drawing look more like a painting without like tips and tricks to do it more easily, but I've never really been much of a traditional painter. I've always liked traditional paintings. I loved going to museums. I still love going to museums, but I do it less. Sorry about not really responding to anything. Working in a factory, I'm technically not even supposed to be on my phone, but whatever, I'm still listening. Feel free to just hang out whenever. I always value people that just lurk. If you have anything you want to respond to, feel free. I love chatting with you guys. But absolutely no pressure. I'm somebody who naturally kind of is a chatty person and likes to do their own little monologue, so absolutely no worries. Whenever you have time to, feel free to. But focusing on your work is good. If you are enjoying just listening to me, that makes me happy. I'm very laid back. Alright, I'm gonna switch to a different brush for the highlights. Kind of like this. It's very different. Like we went from like a very textured brush to one that's a lot more sharp. There's texture to it, but it's very different. I think I don't really like it though. I think I want something with hatching. I know I have. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Alright, I definitely want it to be a lot more saturated though. But maybe not just blue. I need something different. Maybe something a bit more orange. Maybe not so orange. Not so. I think I'm gonna do... Not glow dodge. Linear burn. Let's make it very light. Definitely a weaker point with my coloring skills is highlights. It's actually pretty common if you'll ever take a close look at my illustrations that I almost always avoid using any highlights on anything. Even when I draw eyes, I really add a reflection in them. It's only getting better as years progress, but... Gotta put everything over under that. Gonna do multiply. Still not doing very much. Alright, let me duplicate this texture layer. Actually, right, this is over everything, but I might... Right, where is the neck? Then where's the... There we go. Let me me go into the background of the painting, which is that purple. There it is. Then I'm going to add the same sort of fabric layer to it. Rotate. Then I'm going to add what brush was I using? I think it's one of these for water crusher? Watercolor. Which one? Fuck. It was. I think I made the brush smaller to try it. Alright, let me. Alright, not so saturated. And then I want to darken that sleeve. I forget what music art it is. I have a LaVey song stuck in my head. I don't usually listen to LaVey, but one of my Oshis was doing a karaoke and did a cover of what song is that? Don't you know that I get quiet when there's no one else around? What song is that? It's not saying it can help, but it did not. I am damned. Kind of like it being darker like that. But that means that we're gonna have to add a lot more lighting to it. Wait. Oh, I just thought, okay. So there's going to be a natural shine over this painting. Oh, that's right. I don't have to worry that much about it. All right, let me go over everything. Don't clip. Let me add glow, and then I'll go over. This light is kind of greenish, so let me. Should be over the line art too. I have to decide which brush I want to do. Is that from the start, LaVey? LaFay? How do you pronounce her name? Laffy? I definitely have no confidence singing her songs. I have some friends who really like her stuff, though. Oh, I kind of like this brush for this. I don't know what exactly I'm trying to do with this, though. Like, obviously, it's a portrait that's in a decent frame, so it's got some light on it. Kind of like that. I'm gonna get rid of a little bit of the streakiness. But I also want to add a little bit more emphasis, like there is like a light up here that it is picking up a reflection on. Like it is reflecting something. I think that's usually something that can really make reflections a lot more impressive if it actually seems like it's picking up something across. So like right here, an end table across the way, maybe with a vase. And this is generally just like another portrait. And then I want to, I think I'm gonna keep my, actually I'm not gonna keep it. I'm gonna do another add glow layer. I'm going to go in with a, okay, let's start off first with just soft. A soft brush. And I'm just going to go over gently. And then I'm going to erase. So now there's a sort of mild glow to it. And then I think I'm going to add a new add glow layer, and I'm going to go in with a light, a very light yellow. I'm going to add some highlights onto the frame where that light's coming from this top right will be reflecting on. And then I definitely want to add some like refractions from this gold frame. So I'm going to then probably go to, there's this brush called Watercolor Splash, and I'm gonna go in with that. And show how it reflects on that. Also want to add some highlights and detailing to this piece using this glow. Because yes, it's being kind of obscured, but it should actually bring some emphasis to some of it. I kind of like this piece because it feels like out of their prime. Like that's kind of the theme and vibe of it. Just want to add emphasis right here. Like a little, like the light would probably definitely catch on this edge. Okay, and then I'll go and erase this. You can just press C on the keyboard just to erase it. Little bit by little bit. And I feel like it would catch the light on just the front sort of edge right there. Okay, and then we can go in and we can add those watercolor specks. Or it's called Watercolor Splash. And that's like a very easy like brush just to go in and add glowing refractory. And refractory is just when light kind of bounces off of things. Or I think it's actually when any wavelength, including light. Actually, it would be kind of fun to use it to add some texture to the wall. Why did I just grab that? Which one's it doing that? Yeah. Still getting used to coloring and lighting and all these little things. Takes time, takes practice. I do a multiple layer and add in some shadows too. There we go. Maybe like that. Okay, I need to add some harsher shadows to this though. And I kind of want to try using overlay. This makes it very dramatic. All right, and then I want to use... Actually, I think I'm gonna use a harder edge brush. I think I'm gonna use my gouache brush to add some harder shadows to it. Honestly, you can tell I'm just having fun messing around with brushes at this point. So let's add in Going through the nose, go down. Going through the mouth, go over. I think we could try multiply, or we could do not glow dodge. Color burn. That no. Linear burn? No. I think multiply is the best. Actually, I think the main problem I'm having right now is we should move this into the same layer as everything else. That did nothing. Sometimes it'll change a lot, and then sometimes it does nothing. For the longest time, I was afraid of doing harder shading. I would make everything way too soft, and it made it look so bad. And if I'm being honest, I still haven't mastered it entirely. As if you can master anything entirely. I still don't really have any confidence in it, but I'm getting better at it. I realized oftentimes it actually is easier to use like cell shading, where you start off with like really hard, like what you see usually with like animes and animations in general, where it's just like very basic minor shading. And so you start off with just very bold like that. And then you go in and you add the softer aspects, but still end up doing it this sort of way. I don't know. I really like using these watercolor brushes. It's like oddly satisfying to use them. So I find myself just not using a method that I know works well, but often things that are more experimental, which has helped me grow a lot. I feel like usually as an artist, the more you try and experiment with the things, the better it goes. I want to add more definition for my... I want to add more green down here, actually. Let's go in with... Let's use dry gouache. Nope. Let's use... What if we use wet wash? No. Rough wash is a watercolor brush default. That is part of Clip Studio Paint's like default brushes is actually my most used brush. Like that's what is used for most of my thumbnails, and even this model that I am using right now, I just use that brush. The farther it is away from the source of the original shadow, the more light should be able to get through. This is a very interesting piece to look at. I had no clue what it was gonna look like, especially as it continued on, and it's honestly kind of cool. I want to do I might come to hate it in literally soon, but I want to use overlay. I kind of love it though. I want to add a let's do foreground to transparent. When it gets to the later part of this drawing anything for me, it's like how many layers can I use on top of one another to cause the effect I want? I think the... I'm like looking at this, I'm like, do I even want to use this? It's an interesting piece, to say the least. But is this what I want? I like it, but it's so experimental. Especially for the cover I'm doing. See, the thing is, I have to think about, like, does it actually matter? It's like, oh, I have to think about whether or not... No, actually, what if I'm just okay with things being the way that it is? I'm like, oh, but the marketability. No. I do all of this as a casual thing, and sometimes I'm like, oh, but, like, people going to like this? Are people going to click on it? And that's not what this is about. This is about me singing a song that I like, having fun. This is honestly kind of an insane piece. I like it. It's weird. Oh, this is so odd. Huh. Okay, you know what? You know what? You know what? Alright, I'm gonna hide this while I save this, but I think I'm gonna leave it as is. What a weird drawing. Alright. I'm going to save. If anybody was ever curious on why I have some weird ass cover art, I mean, you get to see a bit of the process. Most of the time I usually do my covers not streaming them. I mean, like the art for it. Alright, I'm blanking out what this is called. I think it's called Portrait. It's like Sozo? Portrait. Sozo. Alright, save, PNG. And then I'm actually gonna turn the display back on. Because I'm gonna have to write... Oh, wait, just a second. Display begun. Actually. Alright. I've done it. Only 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's not bad. It's kind of a... I kind of have mixed feelings about it. Actually, looking at this, I think I'm gonna go in. Oop. I'm gonna go in, and I'm going to shade the upper lip. I mean, the bottom lip. I think that'll increase the marketability. And I said I didn't care with the marketability, but also... Oh wait, I forgot my most iconic thing. I think I'm starting to realize I don't like how I did. I didn't like how I shaped the nose. It looks really nice, thank you. Now that I'm like mostly done with it, I'm like, oh god, everything's starting to bother me now. I've been cursed. Thank you, Heyman. I'm glad that you like it. I think I'm not going to. I think I'm overthinking it. I think I should just release it. In general, this is a cover I did purely for fun. I mean, so it shouldn't be. It's not that serious, but it is like ugh, the pain of being an artist and be like, fuck. So I'm not using the right brush. I wonder why it's not. I wonder why it's not catching. Oh. Oh, I see, I see. I'm like, why is it not looking like a blood? A stab wound. Okay. Let me go in. Smaller. Make it darker. Me and my never stop bleeding chest. Stab wound. Oh, to be an undead entity that is constantly bleeding. Laundry must be a nightmare. It definitely is. I think that's one of my most fun things, like in every illustration and outfit. That's like a reoccurring thing. And then I should also have the blood follow the creases. I think I want to fix the shading on the nose, though. I want to smooth it, because I don't actually have that defined of a nose bridge. So, because I am fish. I think there's several things with the facial proportions that are off on this. That's one of the problems, is that I only really figure that out once we're done, like, shading it. Where are the... trying to find which... I shaded with for that. There we go. No? That's the line art. I don't know why the line art's always all the way down there. There we go. I never really focused much on the eyes on this piece. I kind of make the eye bags a bit more defined. I'm like, oh, we're done, and then I proceed not to actually be done. So that was a lie. Actually, I might move the nose up entirely. Oh, your hair flashing me for a second? Hee. Me and my disturbingly bright white hair. Yeah, I think having it be a softer nose with no really defined bridge is more fitting. Actually, I should move the mouth up entirely. It's so funny being this far in and being like, oh wait, there's these small little details that is like a huge part of everything that I've drawn that I now have to readjust. Wait. Let me first move just the line art and then I can erase everything else. Okay, where's the line art? There it is. Okay, we have to move the mouth up and to the left. My face is looking particularly long in this. Okay. Then I can fix. Might actually go... Alright, let's go bigger. Usually I turn my brush transparent to then soften specific parts of the drawing I'm working on. I think I'm making it a little too harsh with the reds. I think I'm overcooking this now. Alright. Okay, let me... The nose could be moved higher. That is true. My facial proportions are still off. Okay. Really? I thought that was... Oh, no, not that one. This one. Oh. I love pressing the wrong key. Actually, what if I make my nose a little bigger and move it up a little bit more? And then let's move my mouth up. Just a little bit by little bit, just readjusting things. No, that looks off. I mean, I could change the shading on the nose. It's amazing how much shading changes everything. Because I can be like, wow, this is great line art. And then I shade it, I'm like, oh god. Everything's wrong. It's kind of what I'm going through right now. Trying to figure out what exactly in this is making it so off. There's so many factors. Maybe I'll never know. The world may never know. Might all go back to that fuck-ass chin. I've readjusted that chin so much. Yeah. Maybe I should cut my losses. Somebody once told me that the enemy of perfectionism is the enemy of good enough. And maybe that's what I should be doing right now, saying good enough. But it's difficult. Alright. Let me soften this. Part of me that wants to add more details though. I'm like, maybe it will fix it if I add eyelash shadows. I don't know if it will, but I could try. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna end stream soon. I'm done now. Proceeds to add in way more details. I mean, that would be a cool little detail. I feel like it's little details like that. I'm like, wow, I want to do that for a drawing that I usually end up being inspired by. Like that? If I'm being honest, that kind of is amazing. I don't know, I'm blur this. And then I want to go through and want to ease up on these kind of bluer shadows I have going on. I think that they're important to have, but they're a little harsh when it comes down to... Actually, let me go in and just add highlights. Actually, I'm gonna do this over everything. Because the light would be catching from the top. Then I can go over. Yeah. I kind of want to make it darker though. Because that feels a lot more ominous. I kind of like it. I like it that way. All right. Woo! All right, I like that. I like that a lot more than what I was going to have as the finished product. All right. Hide screen. Save. Oh. Oh my gosh. All right, I said 2:30. That took me 13 minutes to readjust it after. I was like, all right, I'm done. I think that this looks a lot better. Okay. All right, saved. I'll go back to this. All right, now I have to do the actual MV for it. I might set up a Go stream later, potentially, to do it. But for now, that'll be all. Thank you so much to everybody who came by today. Thank you to everybody who chatted. Thank you to the lurkers, and thank you to the VOD watchers in the futures. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.